Our topic here is basically the influence of television on people's lives. The first article here contends that violence on TV is the single most important factor in producing violent behavior later in life. It desensitizes us, it teaches us or implies that violence is normal, and if violence is rewarded on TV, as it sometimes is, this has a huge impact on children. In short, we learn our attitudes from TV. Now, both of these articles, I think, ignore one point that needs our attention. To use the word TV, of course, is meaningless. There's no such thing as TV. There are the people who make the shows. There are the advertisers who pay the bills of the shows. Here's where the power, here's where the influence is. On the other hand, these same people are giving us, the public, what apparently we like. If we didn't like it, we wouldn't watch it. And if we didn't watch it, of course, they'd make no money. Instead, they make money. So, to suggest that we are the helpless victims of TV is, of course, disingenuous. They give us what we want. And it's possible that the ultimate, what shall we say, corrupter of all this is democracy itself. The free open market. Because the free open market allows people to compete for public attention, for the market, and so it gives us what we want. On the other hand, most people do not commit violent crimes, so it's not surprising, it can't be surprising that there are some violent crimes. Now, recently I saw a film that's very important in American culture during the past 2 years, very important, called Bowling for Columbine. It's a documentary about the Columbine phenomenon, Columbine High School in Colorado, where 2 boys carried guns into the high school and killed 14 people, wounded many more, and then killed themselves. This documentary basically tried to examine American violence. It begins with an examination of the gun culture. Why? Just to give you 2 ideas here. The maker of the documentary went to Detroit because it identified Michigan, the state of Michigan, as a center of gun obsession. A militia. Everyone has a gun, apparently, in Michigan. And these 2 boys who killed these people were from Michigan. And Charlton Heston, the famous actor, who is the head of the NRA, National Rifle Association, which struggles for our right to protect our right to have guns, is also from Michigan. But then the maker of the film crossed over Lake Huron, I guess it is. Across from Detroit, there's the city of Windsor, Canada. Take the bridge, and there you are, in Windsor. And it turns out that, yes, Canadians have guns too. But Canadians in Windsor don't even lock their doors. Canadians in Windsor do not fear violent crime, and maybe 80 people a year die violent deaths from guns in Canada. Maybe 30 in Korea, maybe 15 in Japan, maybe 100 in France, 150 in Germany, 12,000 in the US. 12,000. It's an incredible discrepancy. It's an incredible gap. So this film tries to explain the source of this. Why? Why such violence? The film is a very daring film because it dares to identify one thing as the main source. We have a climate of fear in the United States. Fear of what? Who are these gun owners, by the way? Most of them are white. Most of them are white and live in the suburbs. Whom do they fear? The young black male. Now, this may not be the ultimate explanation, but it's a brave attempt to identify, to explain these things that I've told you about. Why in Canada? How is Canada so different? Why this huge number of deaths? Of course, because we have guns. But why do we have guns? Because we're afraid. Of whom or of what are we afraid? And this film dares to say of the young black male. And it shows TV coverage of many. Every time there's a violent crime, or very often, the news, the anchor guy or whoever says, police are looking for a young black male aged 22, or it shows some shirtless black male with his magnificent body being carried away in handcuffed by the police. And so the blame falls a little on the media, but really the media too simply reflect this climate of the fear of the young black male. Very interesting, very daring, very... it's an award-winning film, and all people interested in Americana should see it. Anyway, why such violence? There's one theory, one explanation. Bowling for Columbine is the name of that film. A second film, by the way, I saw recently is called Elephant. And this film, too, tries to analyze at least a little bit the Columbine phenomenon. Under very similar circumstances, two boys at a high school in Portland, Oregon, far away, do the same thing. So it's pretty clear that the makers of this film tried to retell the story. I don't think they analyze the events so much, but the film shows a lot of sympathy for the two boys in that they had been kind of wang ta. And really it's the wang ta phenomenon. And that's a good one for Koreans to discuss too. Wang ta is a disturbing phenomenon which in various cultures often ends in tragedy, suicide, and so forth. If Korea had an open gun society, a lot of wang ta would buy guns and kill people. But you don't have that gun culture. Be glad. But any human culture produces wang ta, and the way they are treated is important in any society and kind of measures how civilized we are. By that measurement, the American society that is reflected in Elephant is not very civilized. But any society, once again, that has the wang ta phenomenon should look at it cautiously. And just one observation about that, because it's so interesting. In my opinion, after looking at it, I think quite a lot, the wang ta phenomenon is everyone's responsibility. Everyone's guilty. Parents especially. Teachers especially. The media maybe especially. Everybody's guilty. Nobody's innocent in that wang ta phenomenon. The parents of the children, if they don't know, guilty. The parents of the tormentors of the wang ta, guilty. The teachers at that school, guilty. The kids at that school who don't intervene, guilty. Everybody's guilty. This is a good topic to discuss, and it's related to violence, I think.